The night was quiet, but Amina's heart was loud. She sat alone in her small room. The room was old. The walls were cracked. A single yellow bulb was hanging from the ceiling. Rain was falling outside. Water dropped slowly from the broken window. Amina looked at her phone. Her hands were shaking. She took a deep breath and whispered, "Please, answer the call." The phone started ringing. Ring, ring. No answer. Her eyes filled with tears. She wiped her face quickly. "This is my last chance," she said to herself. Amina was only 22 years old, but life had already tested her. Too much. Her mother was sick, very sick. Doctors said she needed treatment fast, but treatment needed money, and Amina had no money. She worked all day cleaning tables at a small cafe. People shouted at her. People ignored her, but she never complained. That night, she received an email. It was an invitation. A big hotel. A rich business event. Important people from different countries. They needed someone who could help foreign guests, the email said. If selected, this job can change your life. Amina read the email again and again. Her heart started beating faster. This is it, she thought. This is my chance. But there was one problem. She had no reference, no powerful name, number, rich background, still. She decided to call the number written in the email. The call went unanswered. She tried again. Ring. Ring. Finally, someone picked up, double quotes, yes. A cold voice said. Amina swallowed her fear. "Hello, sir. My name is Amina. I received your email about the hotel event." There was silence. Then the voice replied, "Yes. So," Amina spoke slowly. "Carefully, I can help with languages. I speak multiple languages." The man laughed softly. "Many people say that," he replied. Amina felt her chest tighten. "I understand, sir, but I really can." Another pause. "Come tomorrow morning," the man said. "Hotel Grand Palace, hall number 3. Before Amina could say anything, the call ended. Her phone slipped from her hand. She sat still. Did this really happen? Outside, thunder roared. Amina stood up and looked at the mirror. She saw a tired girl, dark circles under her eyes, simple clothes, no confidence on her face. People always judged her because of her skin color, because of her clothes, because of her silence. She remembered her childhood. She was 10 years old when her father died. After that, life changed. Her mother worked as a cleaner. Amina helped her after school. School was hard. Other kids laughed at her. "You are too dark. You are too poor. You will never become anything." But Amina had one habit. She listened. She listened to radio stations in different languages. She watched free videos on old phones. She borrowed books from a public library. Every word was a door for her. Every language felt like freedom. When she spoke a new language, she felt strong. She felt alive. That night, she packed her bag. Inside it were one notebook, one pen, one old dictionary, her phone, nothing else. She sat beside her mother's bed. Her mother was sleeping, breathing slowly. Amina held her hand. "I promise," she whispered. "I will save you." Tears fell on her mother's hand. She did not sleep that night. She kept thinking about the hotel, about the people, about how they would look at, about how they would laugh. Fear sat in her heart, but hope sat there too. Early morning, Amina wore her cleanest dress. It was simple. It was old, but it was neat. She looked at herself one last time. "You belong there," she told herself. "Do not be afraid." She stepped out into the cold morning. The city was waking up. Buses honked. People rushed. Amina walked slowly. Each step felt heavy when she reached the hotel. She stopped. The building was huge. Glass doors, golden lights. Luxury cars stood outside. Rich people entered confidently. Amina felt small, very small. She almost turned back, almost, then her phone. Vibrated. A message appeared. Be on time. No excuses. Amina took a deep breath. She lifted her head and walked inside. She did not know it yet, but this one call, this one moment, was about to change her life forever. The hotel doors opened slowly. Cold air touched Amina's face. Inside, everything looked expensive. Bright lights, shiny floors. People wearing costly clothes. Amina stood still for a moment. She had never seen a place like this before. Men in suits walked fast. Women spoke confidently. Everyone looked important. Amina held her bag tightly. She felt many eyes on her. Some people stared. Some people whispered. Some people smiled, but not kindly. She heard someone say quietly, "Is she lost?" Another voice replied, "She does not belong here." Amina lowered her eyes. Her heart beat faster. She walked toward the reception desk. The receptionist looked at her from head to toe. "Yes," the receptionist asked, sounding bored. I am here for the language job," Amina said softly. The receptionist raised an eyebrow. "Name?" "Amina," she replied. The receptionist checked the list after a few seconds. She nodded. "Hall number 3, she said coldly. Amina thanked her and walked away. Her legs felt weak. The hallway was long. Every step echoed loudly. Tap, tap, tap. It felt like everyone could hear her fear. When she reached Hall 3, the door was open. Inside, many chairs were placed neatly. A group of candidates was already there. They looked confident. They looked rich. They looked educated. Amina stood. Near the door, no one talked to her. No one smiled at her. A tall man in a suit entered. The hall, everyone sat straight. He was the event manager. He spoke loudly. "This event is very important. Only the best will be selected." His eyes moved across the room. When his eyes reached Amina, he paused just for a second. Then he continued speaking. One by one, candidates were called. They introduced themselves. They spoke with confidence. They used big words. Amina listened quietly. She did not feel jealous. She felt focused. Finally, her name was called Amina. She stood up. All eyes turned toward her. Some people smiled again. That same judging smile. She walked to the front. The manager asked, "What languages do you speak?" Amina took a breath. She remembered her mother. She remembered the phone call. She remembered her promise. "I speak 9 languages." She said calmly. The room went silent. Then laughter broke out, not loud, but enough to hurt. The manager smiled slightly. 9 languages, he asked. "Are you serious?" "Yes, sir," Amina replied. Her voice did not shake. The manager leaned back. "All right," he said. "Sit down. We will see." Amina nodded and returned to her seat. People around her whispered, "She is lying. She looks like a cleaner. This is a joke." Amina closed her eyes for a moment. She blocked the voices. She opened her notebook. Inside, she had written one sentence. "Do not explain. Let your skills speak." She smiled softly. Outside the hall, someone important had just arrived. A millionaire, the owner of the event. The room atmosphere changed. People stood up. Respect filled the air. Amina stayed seated. She did not know him yet, but soon, very soon, their worlds were about to collide, and everything was about to change. The hall suddenly became quiet. A heavy silence. Then the doors opened. A tall man walked inside. He wore a dark suit. His shoes shined brightly. His face showed power. Everyone stood up at once. Whispers filled the room. That's him. The owner, the millionaire. This man was known everywhere. He was rich, he was respected, and he was feared. He looked around the hall slowly. His eyes stopped at different faces. Confident faces. Nervous faces. Then his eyes stopped on Amina. She was still seated, still calm, still quiet. The millionaire frowned. "Who is that?" he asked loudly. The manager rushed forward. "Sir, she is one of the candidates." The millionaire laughed lightly. "A candidate," he said. "For what?" The manager hesitated. "She says she speaks 9 languages." The millionaire laughed louder. The sound echoed in the hall. Some people joined the laughter. Amina felt the heat on her face, but she did not move. The millionaire walked closer. He stood right in front of her. "So," he said slowly, "you speak 9 languages." "Yes," Amina replied. Her voice was soft, but it was steady. The millionaire crossed his arms. "You don't look like someone who speaks 9 languages," he said. The room froze. Some people looked away. Some smiled. Amina looked up at him. "I don't think knowledge has a look," she said calmly. The millionaire raised his eyebrows. "Confidence," he said mockingly. "But confidence without proof is useless." He turned to the room. "Tell me," he said loudly, "do you believe her?" No one answered. Silence again. The millionaire looked back at Amina. "I have met professors, translators, and world travelers," he said. "They don't look like you." Amina took a deep breath. She felt pain, but she also felt strength. "I learned languages because I had no money," she said. "I learned because I had time, pain, and hunger." The room grew quiet, very quiet. The millionaire smiled slightly. "Interesting story," he said. "But stories don't impress me." He snapped his fingers. "Bring the foreign guests." The manager nodded quickly. Amina's heart beat faster. This was it. This was the moment. The millionaire leaned closer. "If you fail," he whispered, "you leave immediately." Amina nodded. "If I fail," she said, "I will leave." She paused. "But if I succeed," she added, "please listen before you judge." The millionaire laughed once more. "Deal," he said confidently. He stepped back. The doors opened again. Foreign guests began to enter the hall. Different faces. Different countries, different languages. Amina closed her eyes for 1 second. She remembered the radio, the books, the nights without sleep. When she opened her eyes, she was ready. The real test was about to begin. The hall felt heavy. No one spoke. Foreign guests stood in a line. They looked curious. Some looked doubtful. The millionaire pointed to a man with glasses. "You," he said. "Speak to her." The man nodded. He spoke in French. His words were fast. Clear, confident, people watched Amina closely. Some smiled, ready to laugh. Amina listened. Carefully, she did not rush. She did not panic. Then she replied in perfect French. Her pronunciation was smooth. Her tone was polite. The man's eyes widened. He smiled, tears beaming. He said, "Excellent." A soft murmur filled the hall. The millionaire's smile faded slightly. He pointed to another guest. Next. A woman stepped forward. She spoke in Spanish. Amina answered without delay. Clear, natural, fluent. The woman laughed happily. "Perfect," she said. Now people leaned forward. The room energy changed. The millionaire's face tightened again. He said. A third guest spoke Arabic. Amina replied with respect and correct accent. The guest nodded slowly. "You speak like my people," he said. Silence spread again. But this time it was different. This silence had fear in it. Amina stood straight. Her hands were steady. She did not smile. She did not show pride. She just spoke. The millionaire cleared his throat. "This means nothing," he said sharply. "Luck exists." He pointed to another man. "Try something harder." The man spoke German, strong, fast, complex. Amina paused for 1 second, then she answered, perfect grammar, clear meaning. Someone dropped a pen. The sound echoed. Loudly, the millionaire swallowed. The manager wiped sweat from his face. People were no longer smiling. They were staring. Amina felt something new. Respect, but the test was not over. The millionaire raised his hand. "Enough," he said. He looked at Amina deeply. "You surprised me," he admitted. "But surprise is not enough." He stepped closer. "Let's see how far this goes." The final test was coming, and everyone knew it. Something big was about to happen. The hall no longer felt proud. It felt small. No one whispered now. No one laughed. No one smiled. All eyes were on Amina. The millionaire walked slowly across the floor. His shoes made sharp sounds. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. He stopped in front of her. "You have talent," he said. "But talent alone does not make people great." Amina listened quietly. "I want to see pressure," he continued. "Real pressure." He turned to the guests. "Everyone," he said loudly, "speak freely. Speak fast. Speak naturally." The guests looked at each other. Then it began. A man spoke Italian quickly. A woman followed in Portuguese. Another spoke Chinese. Voices overlapped. The room filled with confusion. Amina closed her eyes. She listened. She separated every sound in her mind. One by one, she replied. Italian, Portuguese, Chinese, calm, clear, correct. The overlapping voices stopped. The hall went silent, very silent. Someone whispered, "She is real." The millionaire's jaw tightened. He had lost control of the room. Amina looked tired now, but she stood strong. The millionaire spoke again. "Why?" he asked suddenly. "Why did you learn all this?" Amina looked at him. "For survival," she said. "For dignity." The words hit the room hard. The millionaire looked away. He remembered his own past. But pride stopped him from speaking. He pointed again. One last test. He said, "A guest spoke Swahili." Amina smiled for the first time. She replied warmly. The guest laughed. "This is my mother tongue," he said. "She speaks like home." No sound followed. The silence was heavy. Respect filled the air. The millionaire took a step back. His confidence cracked. He realized something. Painful, he had judged her, and he was wrong. But his pride was not ready to fall yet. Not completely. He raised his head and said, "This interview is not over." Everyone knew. The final moment was coming, and it would change everything. The millionaire stood silent for the first time. He had no words. The hall waited. The manager looked nervous. The guests looked impressed. Amina stood calmly. She was tired, but she was proud. The millionaire finally spoke. "Everyone," he said slowly, "thank you for your time." People looked confused. He turned to Amina. "Stay," he said. Everyone else was asked to leave. One by one, the hall became empty. Only 3 people remained: the millionaire, the manager. And Amina, the millionaire, took a deep breath. "I judged you," he said honestly. "I was wrong." Amina listened quietly. "I thought success had a face," he continued. "I forgot it has a story." The room felt warm now. "I need someone like you," he said. Not just for languages, but for understanding people. He offered her a chair. She sat. "This event brings investors from many countries," he explained. "They need trust. They need comfort. He paused. I want you to lead our language and culture team. Amina's eyes widened. This was bigger than a job. This was a future. But, the millionaire added, I want to ask you something. Amina nodded. Why didn't you get angry? He asked. Why didn't you leave when I laughed? Amina smiled softly. Because silence is also strength, she said, and skill is my answer. The millionaire nodded slowly. I want to offer you the position, he said. With full salary, medical support, and growth. Amina felt her heart raced. She thought of her mother. She stood up. I accept, she said. The millionaire extended his hand. Amina shook it. The handshake was firm. Equal, respectful. The manager smiled. Outside the hall, the guests waited. The millionaire opened the door. He announced loudly, This woman is our new lead consultant. Shock spread across faces. Pride filled Amina's eyes. She walked out with confidence. But the biggest change was not in her life. It was in the minds of everyone watching. Amina walked out of the hall slowly, but her steps were different now. They were not heavy. They were confident. People stood on both sides of the hallway. The same people who laughed before. Now they watched silently. Some lowered their eyes. Some smiled with respect. Amina did not look back. She did not smile proudly. She stayed calm. Outside the hotel, the city moved as usual. Cars passed. People rushed. But for Amina, the world had changed. She held her phone tightly. Her hands were shaking again. This time from happiness. She dialed a number. Ring. Ring. Her mother answered weakly. Amina. Her mother said, Yes, Mama. Amina replied softly. I got the job. Silence. Then her mother cried. I knew you would, she said. Amina closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But these were not tears of pain. They were tears of victory. Days passed. Amina started her new role. She helped people communicate. She helped cultures connect. Foreign guests trusted her. The team respected her. The millionaire watched from a distance. He learned something. True greatness does not shout. It proves itself. One day, a young girl entered the hotel. She wore simple clothes. She looked scared. People stared. Amina noticed her. She walked toward the girl and smiled. You belong here, Amina said gently. The girl smiled back. That moment said everything. Moral of the story: never judge someone by their appearance. True power is knowledge, patience, and humility. The quiet ones often carry the strongest stories.